iyong pagtutunguhan. Pangat na inaasam, di mapipigil ni numan. Maaabot lahat ng iyong inaasam. Kasipagan ng sagot, salat ka man sa kayamanan. Buksan ang pahina ng mga aklat ng karunungan. Edukasyon ating kailangan, kamamangan ating iwanan. Please! Ating lilikuin, ating pagpawin, ating tanawin.
Wow! Welcome back, everyone! I had a good lunch and I hope you did too. Nabusog ba kayo sa inyong mga pananghalian? Dahil mas mabubusog pa kayo sa mga panibago niyong matututunan. I am Johnny Xavier from Palahanan Integrated National High School, Division of Batangas, Region 4A, Calabarzon. Hello, Sheila!
Hello, magandang buhay! I am Sheila Marie J. Cayetano from Santo Rosario National High School, Division of Nueva Ecija, Region 3, and we are your hosts this afternoon.
Now that we are back, let us be present in this moment. Let's relax and slow down with a mindfulness practice.
Magandang hapon po, maayong hapon, maray na hapon, good afternoon po sa lahat. Let's start our activity with the breathing exercise to calm our minds and relax our bodies. Please find a comfortable position, but make sure that you will not fall asleep. You may sit on the floor if you like. Let's begin. Close your eyes or focus in one spot in the room. Roll your shoulders slowly forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then slowly back. 3, 4. And lean your head from side to side, lowering your left ear toward your left shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your right ear toward your right shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then relax your muscles. Your body will continue to relax as we meditate. Then observe your breathing. Notice how your breath flows in and out. Make no effort to change your breathing in any way. Just simply notice how your body breathes. Your body knows how much air it needs. Sit quietly, seeing in your mind's eye your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. When your attention wanders, as it will, just focus back again on your breathing. See how your breath continues to flow deeply, calmly. Feel the air entering through your nose. Picture the breath flowing through the cavities in your sinuses and then down to your lungs. As the thoughts intrude, allow them to pass and return your attention to your breathing. See the air inside your body after you inhale, filling your body gently. Notice how the space inside your lungs becomes smaller after you exhale and the air leaves your body. Feel your chest and stomach gently rise and fall with each breath. Now, as you inhale, count silently 1. As you exhale, count 1. And wait for the next breath and count again 1. Exhale 1. Inhale 1. Exhale 1. Inhale 1. Exhale 1. Continue to count in each inhalation and exhalation as well. Notice now how your body feels. See how calm and gentle your breathing is, and how relaxed your body feels. Now it is time to gently reawaken your body and mind. With your eyes closed, notice the sounds around you. The aircon, the electric fan, the sound outside your room. Feel the floor beneath you. Feel your clothes against your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Shrug your shoulders. And gently open your eyes. And remain sitting for a few moments longer. And straighten out your legs and stretch your arms and legs gently. And sit for a few moments more, enjoying how relaxed you feel and experiencing your body reawaken and your mind returning to its usual level of alertness.
That was calming as always. Talaga naman na effective sa akin at nakakagaan ng pakiramdam ang mindfulness practice na ito. And I hope na sa inyo rin. By the way, kaninang umaga, nagkaroon tayo ng panel discussion kasama sina Dr. Jeremy Molino mula sa Roman Catholic Community, Miss Patricia Mongcal mula sa Protestant Community, at Father Junito Cabillas mula sa Iglesia Filipina Independiente. Binigyan nila ng diin ang importansya ng ating paniniwala at nating mga kabataan pagdating sa usapin ng pangangalaga ng
Now, let's hear from the young people themselves and why, despite their differences, their lives always align when it comes to restoring our planet.
Inaanyayahan po namin kayong lahat na i-type ang inyong katanungan para sa ating speakers or kahit thoughts na gusto niyong ibahagi sa ating comment box. Please include your name, office or school and division along with your comments or questions. We look forward to hearing from you. Also, a gentle reminder to all our viewers throughout the Philippines and our DepEd family, inaanyayahan po namin kayong i-share ang ating Facebook Live upang mas maraming tao ang makalahok sa ating napaka-importanteng diskusyon. At hindi lang iyon, kayo ay maaaring manalo ng mga exciting prizes kung ang tanong ninyo ang mapipiling masagot ng ating mga panauhin via Facebook Live comments. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Plan International will sponsor these exciting prizes. I-share nyo na ito sa inyong mga kaibigan at pamilya at sabay-sabay tayong matuto at manalo.
Nakaka-excite naman yan, Sheila. Now, for our discussion, we will have Ate Romeline Cristobal, Kuya Christian Nico Dagol, and Ate Inyala Faith Inta from Notre Dame of Cotabato, Division of Cotabato City, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, in Muslim Mindanao. Together, they and their classmates and those with the advocacy to fight for the environment have started the Economista organization, a campus youth organization founded to advocate and raise awareness about our common home and inspired by the encyclical Laudato Si.
Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. May the peace be upon you. I am so glad everyone is here attending this session. Being present here today and just listening is very much appreciated. And I'm hoping you could lend me your ears until the end of this session. Now let us start. My topic is all about throw away fast fashion to a sustainable fashion. In short, it's all about fashion, along with the fashion brands, consumerism, and how it affects the society as a whole, especially now in our generation and in this time of pandemic. I am sure everyone is somehow familiar with these terms, but first, I'll show you a quick video about the reality of fashion.
Fashion industry is destroying everything on the planet. Air, water, land, earth. 10% of all global CO2 emissions is because of fashion industry. Fashion industry produces 20% of global wastewater. It uses 80 billion cubic meters of fresh water. That is 2 months of drinking water for the entire US. It produces 92 million tons of waste in a year. 85% of our old clothes end up in a landfill can sit there for 50 plus years. It would take 12 years to recycle what the fast fashion industry creates in 48 hours. 60% of our clothes are made of polyester or plastic, which makes fast fashion a huge contributor to plastic pollution. Washing clothes releases 5 lakh tons of plastic particles, that's 50 billion plastic bottles. Fast fashion is predicted to increase till to 60% by the year 2030. Together we can make the change. For more videos visit
So from the video and some statistics shown from the video, take a pause and look at yourself. Look at your clothes. What style is it? Is it a polo, long sleeve, a sweater? And if you could remember, can you identify what brand of clothing you are wearing right now? You might think why I'm including this topic when we are about the environmental aspects, but the issue of fast fashion is getting out of hand. As a youth, especially as a grade 12 student, the issue of fast fashion is timely, especially now in pandemic, where people are at home wanting to buy things, some clothes that they want but don't need, or just for some reason wanting the idea of fashion shopping. While we all love shopping, wanting to be updated with trends, with the latest fashion from the models we see, from the media we see, and from the advertisements we see. We usually opt for some trendy, good, and cheap clothes, but we should be able to ask ourselves a question. Is it worth it? Buying these trendy clothes which end up staying in our closet for years and not getting used? According to a senior style journalist, Mathilde Charpel, in 2017, the fashion industry has a disastrous impact on the environment. In fact, it is the second largest polluter in the world, just after the oil industry. And the environmental damage is increasing as the industry grows. Major brands are jumping from country to country for cheaper materials in order to produce cheap products. Now let us see the fashion brands. Here we can see Zara, H&M, Forever 21, and Uniqlo. These are fast fashion brands that were able to produce fast clothes. And you might think, how? So this results to the sweatshop. This is when a factory or workshop, especially in the clothing industry, where manual workers are employed at very low wages for long hours, under poor conditions, labor, and lack of benefits for workers. The Do Something organization says that because women make up 85 to 90% of sweatshop workers, some employers force them to take birth control and routine pregnancy tests to avoid supporting maternity leave or providing appropriate health benefits. Most of these are from Asia and African countries like Thailand, China, and India. And this leads to pollution in different aspects. We can see in this statistic that the fashion consumption dates back from the 2015 and predicted in the year 2030. They predicted based on the data that by 2030, there would be 100 million uses of clothes. So let's talk about the fashion and water pollution. In most of the countries in which garments are produced, untreated toxic wastewaters from textile factories are dumped directly into the rivers. Wastewater contains toxic substances such as lead, mercury, and arsenic. These are extremely harmful for aquatic life and health of millions of people living by those rivers. The contamination also reaches the sea and eventually spreads around the globe. Next is the microfibers in our oceans. Every time we wash a synthetic garment, example, the polyester, the nylon, there is about 1,900 individuals microfibers are released into the water and making their way into the oceans. Scientists have discovered that small aquatic organisms ingest those microfibers. These are then eaten by small fish, which are later eaten by bigger fish, introducing plastic in our food chain. So in the waste accumulation, clothing has clearly become disposable. We generate more and more textile and waste. A family in the Western world throws away an average of 30 kilograms of clothing each year. Only 15% is recycled or donated, and the rest goes directly to the landfill or incinerated. Synthetic fibers such as polyester are plastic fibers. Therefore, non-biodegradable can take up to 200 years to decompose. See, non-biodegradable can take up to 200 years to decompose. Synthetic fibers are used in 72% of our clothing. So there are ways that we can do something about it. Number one is to buy less and buy better quality. Do not overhaul clothes you don't need. Unnecessary shopping can make you waste money, spend your savings, and get multiple packages. So just buy what you need. Use sustainable or long-lasting pieces of clothes. Choose fibers with low water consumption, such as linen, recycled fibers, and etc. Choose natural, organic, or synthetic fibers. Number three, look for garments with certification label controlling chemical content such as these labels, And fourth, thrift and thrift. Thrifting, or what rich kids call, or ukay-ukay kung sa atin, when you thrift, you're preventing that massive waste of energy and resources in the production of new clothes. Thrifting is an easy way to make a difference in your own carbon footprint and take the small steps to lower the world's. And lastly, upcycling of clothes. If the clothes are still in good shape, use it. Conversion of waste materials to something useful or valuable is applied to waste recycling and resource circulation. Here we can see the shirt. They upcycled it into a dress. Now you may ask, what's the difference between recycling and upcycling? Recycling breaks products down into their raw materials to be made into totally new things, while upcycling creatively repurposes old materials while maintaining some of their original characteristics. Now let's talk about the consumerism. So in here, ever since the pandemic, almost everyone got too involved in online shopping. We were not able to go out during quarantine, so we were not able to shop physically in stores. And kasali na rito ang Shopee, Lazada. We cannot deny that it brought us good. It was very efficient, saved us time to find cheap products, and we do it to reward ourselves from all the hard work. I'm not intending to make shopping look bad, but we should be able able to assess our actions. Because remember, too much shopping or too much of anything is bad. Everything has its own consequences. Buying things that we don't need will only produce more waste in our homes, makes us spend money on useless things, and have a negative impact on the environment. And I'm no stranger of online shopping. Since I grew up seeing my sister and mother buying trendy pieces, buys clothes every season, and ends up not using it for the rest of the year. And whenever I need a specific clothing piece that I know I would only use once, I look for the ukay-ukay first, or before buying in stores like in H&M, because ukay-ukay is much cheaper. But let me think about it. Have you ever had an experience when you go to the mall, tapos may nakita ka na kapareha kayo ng shirt, and notice that you two both have that, and same brand, same cloth? That feeling is kind of embarrassing, right? I experienced that myself, and personally, I think that pieces should be unique and only made for you. And with that reason, ukay-ukay or thrifting is special. Of course, it might be second-hand or used by other people, but we could appreciate the clothes even if it's already used, as long as it's wearable and still in good condition. Now we must live a simple life. In my religion, Islam, we are encouraged to live simple and use things that will benefit you and not waste things. We are forbidden to waste food, so we are encouraged that we need to be aware of our actions and measure what we are capable of eating. Also, kapag nagsasambayan kami, we perform an ablution called abdas or wudu in Arabic. Dito, kapag nag-abdas kami, we cleanse parts of the body, and it's a type of ritual purification that consists of washing the face, arms, then wiping the head. And even there, we try to save the water as much as possible. Now, here is my call of action. Change starts with us. Change starts now. The idea that 2020 is a firm deadline was eloquently addressed by one of the world's top climate scientists. Galing pa to noong 2017. And in order to save the Earth in 2021, the Climate Clock, a website powered by scientists, artists, educators across the world, currently says that in order to have 2/3 chance of staying under the critical threshold of 1.5 degrees warming, we must achieve near zero emissions in less than 7 years. And everyone must be aware of this fact, or of how our planet is getting affected. And as a youth, I recognize the efforts that the government makes just to lessen the global warming. But personally, I think that it's not enough, especially when we are near to the deadline that the scientists gave us. But as a person, we have the power to change that. As an individual, we should be able to recognize the need to call for action right now. We should be able to change for the better for our environment. And change starts with us, with you, and with me. Start to take a step and make changes, either big or small step. Remember, when small things are compiled together, it makes a huge difference. And I hope this was serve for each and every one of us. And that is all. I hope you learned something from my insights, and if you can, do share the knowledge with others. This has been such a great time, everyone. Thank you for listening.
I am not the type of person who can only focus on one thing. I tend to get interested in many things, but there is only one where I really stick with it, and that is my advocacy for the environment. It started with my curiosity and boredom amidst the pandemic, and now I am walking the path of making the change. Frankly, I am not yet completely a zero waste or a vegan person. Sabi nga ni Khalid sa kanyang kanta, I am a young, dumb, broke high school kid and still learning and making my way to sustainable living. It it's hard to fully walk your talk when you come from an average household. And this is where the problem begins for the most families and youth in the Philippines. But before we start, do you know that the Philippines is responsible to the 36% of the plastic waste in the world's oceans, with Pasig River topping the list of polluters? Rivers around the world serve as like a highway for marine litter that always end up in the ocean. And the Pasig River is regarded as like EDSA to ocean pollution in the Philippines. It really saddens me when the Philippines is getting famous for the wrong reasons. Sa Pilipinas, lang ata ang plastic ay may forever. Sa dami-dami ng mga nagbe-break up ngayong taon, ang plastic ang may forever. So there is really a need for recognition that we have a waste management crisis in the country. The amount of waste that is being centrally collected is very small compared to what we should be achieving. Most of it leaves up to the barangays and households on how they should manage their own waste, on which we should not let, kasi they got little to no resource and sometimes little knowledge on how to do it properly. Imposing stronger policies and providing funds to help them start their own can get to the bottom of the problem in the local government units and households. I am sure that based on the sharing of the previous speakers earlier in the morning and for the past days, we already have an idea on how big is the problem of environmental degradation and how it affects the bigger population of the world and the other living things. So, I will focus more on the things that you, the youth, can do to be a part of the solution and lessen the part where we are the problem. This is based on how I managed to get myself involved with this advocacy, and I hope that you too can start your journey with this one. First on our list is to think of a scenario where it really made you feel uncomfortable in that situation. It is not necessary to think deeply and long. If you feel like getting goosebumps with what the previous speaker shared or the pictures and videos you saw, then pwede iyon ang iyong maging simula. And I know some of you are now already asking themselves, why is this part important and why is this one on the list? It is not the usual thing we put in the first place, isn't it? To answer that, I included this one. It is because in a situation where we feel uncomfortable, we tend to take action to reverse that feeling. It is not enough to only be cognizant of that scenario, especially if it is already killing thousands of different species and life, or mortifying the rights of someone or something. One should get to know more about it. Get to know more of that scenario by researching science-based studies as much as possible and listening to real-life stories to know what made that scenario a problem. You know, when I started my journey, I never thought that I will be on this level of being concerned. So it is really important to start at something where you either experience it firsthand or again, where you felt uncomfortable. You can start also taking an interest in the lesson that you have at school about social issues and in science in general. In our school at Notre Dame of Cotabato, when we had our in-person classes, we are already practicing sustainability inside the campus by bringing our own water bottles and not bringing plastic bags. Our school also incorporated in our values education subject the encyclical letter of Pope Francis, which is the Laudato Si. But the fact that you are now with us today and listening attentively already shows that you tick off the second part on your journey and on the list. The next thing to do is to get involved. We need to get involved and take action. Here is the video of how you can start doing something today, even if you are a student.
Hello, it's Sue from TBH Studying, and I'm here to chat about some ways to be environmentally friendly as a student. Let's start off with paper versus digital for notes and things like that. I know the usual tip that most people include in videos specifically for students is to go digital in order to reduce paper. I've actually been looking up scientific journal studies done comparing paper and electronics, and I've found conflicting as well as biased information. Yes, using paper does generate paper waste, but paper waste is also one of the more recyclable products compared to something like plastics and e-waste. And e-waste is actually posing a major health and waste issue, especially in countries where e-waste is sent. So I can't definitively tell you if digital or paper is better, and I have to do some more research on that. However, for people using paper, try to use your old homework assignments, notes you don't use anymore, or leftover notebooks from class for scratch work. Maybe you have a math problem you're trying to work out, or you need to scribble down a quick note for yourself. Try using that old paper before opening up a new package of paper or starting a new notebook. For people who like using digital things, try to maximize your use of your electronics rather than constantly upgrading your products for the next new one. Some companies are also able to take back devices to be properly recycled, and although I can't prove that they're actually recycling it instead of exporting it, I think it's better than just throwing it in your trash can and having it go to your local landfill. And if you have access to a composting system, or if you're able to start up a compost bin for yourself, you can use a paper shredder, a pair of scissors, or your hands to shred up paper and compost it instead of recycling it. I don't know about other people, but for me, my compost system can only handle shredded paper, so that's what I have to do in order to compost my paper. And overall, if you're trying to decide between digital or paper, I would suggest picking the one that you feel most comfortable with and one that feels best suited for your own budget, because in the end, I think both pretty much are even in terms of waste, but again, I do have to look up more articles and research about that before I make a definitive statement. There are also simple changes you can make in your daily lifestyle, like using a reusable water bottle instead of disposable water bottles, using a reusable canvas bag or a tote bag instead of using a plastic grocery bag for shopping, and using reusable utensils instead of plastic disposable ones. Also, if you're going to get a reusable straw, get the ones that are for bubble tea that have the wider diameter because they're easier to clean and maintain than the super skinny ones. Also, as a college student, I don't have my own car, so I often end up either walking, using public transportation, or carpooling with other people. That's another way to help reduce fossil fuel usage. And if you need textbooks or certain books for your class, check your library for them or check online before buying new books. You can also ask someone else who's taken the class before. Not only does it save you loads of money, you also save paper and fossil fuel usage from the shipping and production of that book. In addition to that, you can try to reduce your meat consumption. I'm not saying you have to go completely vegetarian or vegan. That's a lifestyle choice that is up to you, but if we all try to eat less meat or have a few days of the week dedicated to meatless meals, that helps because the meat industry contributes to a lot of fossil fuel usage, animal methane, effluent waste, and water and land consumption. Also, I find that meat is more expensive in the stores than vegetables are, and on a college budget, it's cheaper for me to not eat meat if I have to make my own meals. And also, turn off the switch if you're not using certain electric equipment or appliances. This also saves on your energy bill if you're not living in a dorm. This applies to things like chargers, lamps, hair dryers, the lights, etc. And for people who want to recycle their pens and highlighters and things, I know that TerraCycle offers a recycling program for stationery. However, TerraCycling involves shipping, which then involves waste via transport and fossil fuel usage, so check around your local office supply stores or schools to see if there is a pre-existing recycling program for those. Buying refills for your favorite pens is also a cheaper and better option than buying completely new pens.
In getting involved, you can also join organizations that empower the youth movement towards our more clean and greener future. One of the organizations that helped me build my advocacy and made a massive shift in my life is when I became a Mindanao delegate of Alcoy Pilipinas 2021. It is the gathering of youth in the Philippines that discusses pressing climate and environmental issues in the Philippines through a series of capacity building and policy training sessions. We also had the chance to draft a youth statement and was later brought up by the representatives of the Philippines in the COP26 event at Glasgow, Scotland, United Kingdom. My experience with Alcoy Pilipinas was the start of my dream of establishing an organization and it is called Eco Marista. The next speaker will explain the more details about it. As you can observe, I chose the youth to be my main character in this presentation because it is where I or we can relate, and we have the most creative minds and enthusiasm that we can use to be the main drivers of change for our future that the older generation left us with. I also want to remind everyone to just take it one step at a time. Don't be so hard on yourself. It is a journey. All that matters is that you're becoming aware, more conscious of the environment, and you are doing your best. Everyone is at a different point in this journey. But I think the first step is awareness. And then after that, you will start to reduce your waste little by little. So let's create a non-judgmental, welcoming space on where we can just open up the discussion about reducing our waste. And let's not judge others who are not aware of this lifestyle. Let us just understand everyone's at a different point in our journeys. The best thing you can do is just be a living example of what you want to see in the world, and let your actions speak louder than your words. It all begins with awareness, and let this awareness seep into your actions, and then others will see what you are doing, and they will be inspired to follow along. Also, check out Ecosia for a really easy way to start being more environmentally friendly just by searching the web. That will be all, and thank you for having me today.
Good afternoon sa lahat. So before I start, I am thankful sa mga lahat ng sumali ngayong hapon for taking a time out of your Sunday kasi alam ko busy rin tayo So thankful ako na nakasali kayo dito sa live ng DepEd because this is another platform for us youth to share our experiences at yung mga ganap na ginagawa natin for the environment. So I am here today to explain to you the organization na nabanggit ni Romilyn kanina. It's about our Ecomarista organization. So before we start, I am gonna give an introduction. So growing up in a Catholic home, I've been to many masses as I grew up. And what struck me every time I went to mass was the homily of the priest. Back then kasi, nung pumupunta kami sa cathedral, wala pang projectors at that time. So yung psalm natin, yung responsorial psalm ng simbahan, nakakabit yan siya sa walls, nasa harap ng altar. And every time na pupunta kami dyan, nung bata ako, I would be curious kasi English minsan yung responsorial or napaka-deep ng Tagalog. So tatanong ako yun sa tita ko, sa mami ko, ano ibig sabihin nun? Back then, I was really curious about what's happening around me. So imagine lang dati if I was informed about the environment, I think I could have done something or at least be an advocate early in my life. Though hindi ko naman sinasabi na I didn't have any environmental influence in my Christian environment kasi as I grew up naman, I learned that everyone should be at peace and work together if they want to achieve something. And that is one of the factors na kailangan nating intindihin if we are going to fight for the environment. So going back now, hindi na kasing bata ng dati, pero mas mataas na yung curiosity. And one of the issues that struck me the most as I grew up, especially during the pandemic, was the environmental degradation. I am only 17 years old, yet one of my greatest concerns in my life now is the environmental crisis we are facing today. This would be the same dun sa mga kapwa nating kabataan na ito rin yung concern. Today we are discussing biodiversity stewardship, and this is important now as it was back then. Biodiversity refers to the variety of life on Earth, and that also refers to us humans. All of us, people with different beliefs and cultures, comprise our common home. We are diverse. Not only do we need to work together now, but we also must aside our differences and unite our goals to properly achieve our trajectories. Regardless of everything, we must work together. We must open our minds and hearts and be kind. Kasi besides sa intellectual side of action, besides knowing what is happening in our environment, we must be also sensitive in caring because not only animals and places are affected by the degradation of environment, pati tayo na rin mga persons, tayong mga tao, especially those most vulnerable like the indigenous people, kasi wala silang social welfare, least sila napapansin. So it's very important to put special attention to those people. So as Christians tayo, we were taught to care for our environment and steward the creations. And as the most intelligent creatures to ever walk the earth, we must fight for sustainability and accountability. We must be stewards of our common home. And that is what drives us, the Eco-Marista organization. Guided by the Laudato Si, this is our answer to the call of the endangered earth. So before we had the Eco-Marista organization, a series of events led to that forming. So first is the city ordinance. The Cotabato City government started banning the use of single-use plastics on Tuesday, October 1, 2019. Si Mr. Engineer Crisanto Saavedra, yung Chief of the City Environment and Natural Resources Office or CENRO, said that his office will spearhead the implementation of the City Ordinance 4203 that bans the use of plastic bags in all establishments and recommend penalties thereof to violators. Mr. Saavedra also said that the phase out of plastic is gradual. So hindi siya biglaan because one of the things to implement kasi, if we are to implement environmental changes in our society, isipin natin na hindi siya agad-agad malalagay. People have, parang sa iba kasi yung standard of living na nila, nakaasa na sila sa plastic. For example, fish vendors. Di naman siguro nila pwedeng ilagay yung isda nila sa paper bag because that will get wet at mahihirapan yung consumers natin. So nakadepend na yun sila doon. So Cotabato City did not biglaan, di nila binigla. They had the gradual implementation of banning of single-use plastics. So for the first year of implementation, the use of plastic is allowed for 3 days a week para dahan-dahan na tayong masanay, especially yung mga business owners. In the second year, once a week na lang, and the third year na wala na talagang use of single-use plastic. So kahit even before this city ordinance, the school I am attending right now, the Notre Dame of Cotabato, already started with the discipline of banning plastics. So after that, we have the NDC. So being a student of NDC, and siguro kahit saan ka mang school, you'll be influenced by the policies na meron sila. And one of that is the Green Heart policy na meron ng NDC. So Notre Dame of Cotabato showed urgent concern and compliance with the city ordinance. I mean, before pa kasi pala ng city ordinance, they had the initiative na to start. And they cooperated especially rin with the city government. So in return, NDC started the NDC Green Heart and the NDC Green Heart policy. This banned plastics in 2019 and up till now actually, and encouraged students to use tumblers instead for their water and for refill. This event actually started a Green Heart and a green discipline to both the students and the advisors, especially as students. With this policy, doon tumatak sa amin yung dapat mas maging aware na tayo sa nangyayari sa ating environment. So after the city ordinance, the NDC, nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, di ba? So during the pandemic, na-stop lahat ng classes natin, pero yung policy ng NDC ay napatuloy pa rin kahit nag-online class na kami. So after the pandemic, resumed to online classes, and then the school still followed their Green Heart project. And recently, this school year, as a part of the school's response to the challenges of the Laudato Si, some of the teachers joined the formation program on Laudato Si. This program highlights Laudato Si and shows the important shifts the document introduces in understanding our Christian faith. The formation started on March 18 and ended on May 27, 2021. This formation was participated by some of the teachers and administrators from different Mary schools in the country. After this, the school discussed and planned to integrate Laudato Si into the curriculum, programs, and action plans ng school in different departments and offices. Thus, this year, ngayong grade 12, our teachers in different subjects are now integrating Laudato Si in our lessons. In values education, we really have a topic allotted for Laudato Si. So, ang ibig sabihin lang nun, when we started our values education subject this year, our first grading was all about Laudato Si. We tackled the different chapters with the help of our valued teachers, and natutunan namin yung different meanings meron doon sa bawat chapters na iyon. Tapos isa pa is yung sa DRRR, the Disaster Risk and Reduction Management namin na subject. We also discussed Laudato Si because DRRR also tackles about the environment. So during this time, nagkaroon na talaga ng integration of Laudato Si sa aming curriculum, and it's actually enlightening kasi as someone who weren't as aware as of now, isa siya sa mga way kung bakit ako natuto about Laudato Si. So the school also celebrated the seasons of creation with a Eucharistic celebration last September 9, where administrators, teachers, and staff committed to respond to the challenges of Laudato Si through the Green NDC Heart policy. The celebration culminated on the feast of St. Francis of Assisi on October 4, 2021. So this is the day where blessings of animals or pets and plants happen. So later on, the campus ministry office ng school namin, together with some students, had the initiative to organize an organization. And that would include the students who are interested with the advocacy. And together with youth, with the same goal and values, the Eco-Marista organization was born. So doon na lumabas yung organization namin. Nakipag-coordinate ang campus ministry office to the students who had the initiative, and together we decided to form the Eco-Marista organization. So about Eco-Marista. The Eco-Marista organization is inspired by Pope Francis' encyclical Laudato Si on care for our common home. It was established in September 2021 with the help of the campus ministry office to help spread awareness of the problems faced by our common home. It aims to educate the youth on how the climate crisis affects the entire planet. It also aims to encourage its members to adopt an eco-friendlier lifestyle and to speak up about the environmental injustices being done around the world. It envisions a sustainable tomorrow for the youth of today. So our mission is to inspire students of Notre Dame of Cotabato, pwede rin actually outside the school, to live out and carry our advocacy of caring for our common home. So this is our objectives. The Eco-Marista organization was established to encourage students of Notre Dame of Cotabato to undergo an ecological conversion. The organization aims to achieve this through the following. First is to invite ecological conversion for all through prayer and study of Laudato Si. This part is inviting all people, regardless of religion, kasi lahat naman tayo nagdarasal, to understand what is the messages and challenges of Laudato Si. We are invited for an ecological conversion. Second is identify the vital shifts and challenges in ecological conversion. Di naman madali na magbago tayo agad ng lifestyle natin kasi nga, minsan nakadepend na yung lifestyle natin sa unsustainable products and services. So it's important to identify first the vital shifts and challenges to further push the advocacy. The third is to form a group of Maristas, Maris to live and carry the advocacy of Laudato Si. So ito na siya yung part namin to live out and carry the advocacy and to share it along with others. So as an organization, syempre, meron na kaming projects na nagawa. And one of this is yung weekly novena prayers namin. One of the goals of Laudato Si is actually ecological spirituality. Isang part nito is to develop ecological faith sa atin mga youth. Hindi lang sa youth actually, for everybody. So with this, we achieved that goal through the weekly novena prayers. So we had actually 9 days of weekly novena prayers. So next is the Faith for Climate Justice by Green Faith International and co-sponsored by Living Laudato Si. So this event is actually a Maris virtual prayer meet. The goal of this prayer meet is to be to be synchronous with the advocacy of Faiths for Climate Justice ng Green Faith International. So we had the initiative to join their advocacy and to fight along with them through this Maris virtual prayer meet. So for our next projects, ito yung fino-focus namin or plano namin gawain. For our future projects, we plan on discussing the awareness of everyday items that affects us. So basically kasi, if we are going to start with our webinars, kailangan madaling maintindihan ng ating demographics, especially the youth. Kasi minsan, pag mga bata, pag nakaka-encounter sila ng mga deep meanings, masyadong malalim na salita, they get discouraged. So that is not the point of these webinars. It's about raising awareness. So hindi natin pwedeng gawain yung kabaliktaran. So this is just one of the basics muna for them to understand the advocacy. So first is awareness of everyday items that affects us. Hindi natin alam yung mga ginagamit nating bagay. Merong microplastics, mga maliliit na plastics. And that can contribute to some serious damages, especially around us, biologically, and even in our oceans. Second is the basics of taking care of the environment. Ito na yung sinasabi ko, dahan-dahanin natin i-introduce yung advocacy natin to protect the environment. Hindi naman kasi kailangan biglaan. At saka sabi nga ni Ate Romy din kanina, we need to take one step at a time. Second is about a webinar about your environmental accountability. Sa nararanasan natin ngayon, lahat tayo ay may kasalanan. Pero mas may sala yung mga taong dapat yung mga taong mas may kapangyarihan pero they choose to contribute to the crisis of the environment. Dapat sila yung nangunguna na i-change yung mga practices na nakakasira, yet they are doing nothing. So it's important to raise environmental accountability. Kasi minsan, meron pa yan silang nagawa where they pushed all the blame to us. Di naman, sabi nga nila, kung parati kang nagdidilig, parati kang nagpupulot ng basura, hindi ka nag-recycle ka araw-araw, pero kapag mayroong factories na patuloy pa rin naglalabas ng napakadaming carbon emissions sa ating atmosphere, napakahirap habulin nun. Ikaw lang mag-isa, tapos ang kalaban mo, corporations, yung mga mapanirang mga establishment. So napakahirap ganun. So kailangan nating maghingi ng accountability. Kung lalaban nga tayo, sabi ko kanina, kailangan tayong lahat. Pati na rin yung mga taong may kapangyarihan at yung taong may kayang magbigay ng napakalaking impluensya para ma-push natin yung advocacy to protect the earth. So ito naman, isa sa mga extras namin for the future projects is about, para sa social media lang namin ito siya. So weekend information blast. So di naman all the time during the weekends we can start siguro webinars kung mayroong mga unprecedented events. We can do weekend information blast, social media sharing, like yung mga art projects na about for the environment and for the advocacy, pwede nilang ma-share. And yung mga environmental pamphlets na din. So for our future projects, sa school kasi namin, we celebrate AP Val Ed Week. So we are just gonna celebrate it this December ata. We're gonna celebrate that. And we plan on doing another Maris virtual prayer meet. So this time, the focus is also about the environment, but also for the intercultural dialogue among people. Sabi nga nila, we are all interconnected. Hindi pwedeng tayo lang yung lalakad, may matitira sa likod. Hindi pwedeng ganun. So isa yun sa mga goals namin. Next is for the clean up drive and tree planting. Isa siya actually sa mga gusto talaga namin gawain as an organization. Kasi besides that, we want to do concrete actions talaga that will benefit the city. Kasi dito lang yung scope namin for now. So it's a clean up drive. We hope to alleviate the problems with trash around Cotabato. Sa tree planting naman, we hope naman to prevent disasters kasi we plan on mangrove planting. So maganda yun siya actually. ito siya, nabanggit ko na pala, yung mangrove planting namin. Kasi isa guys sa mga napakagandang defenses natin against siguro mga storm surge. Marami kasi tayong na-device na mga concrete barriers, kung alam niyo yon, kung naglalakad kayo sa mga base, mayroong mga concrete barriers sa daan. That is to protect us from any storm surge, yung pagtaas ng tubig. So one of the best pa rin talaga actually is mangroves. Not only do they give us protection, they also contribute to the biodiversity of the areas around them. Nagiging shelter sila ng mga small fishes. Tapos yun na nga, nagiging protector natin sila against storm surges o yung mga pagtaas ng tubig. Next is the Laudato Si webinar for parents. Actually, ito siya, hindi naman din kasi pwedeng tayo lang youth ang maging involved. Dapat ganito rin yung parents natin kasi nga minsan wala tayong gaanong platform to share, wala rin tayong gaanong budget. So, with the help of our parents, possibly meron na tayong additional help and guidance kung anong dapat nating gawin. Maybe through simple ways such as pwede kayo mag-start mag-compost and mag-recycle sa bahay nyo. You can tap your parents to help kasi minsan mahirap kapag ikaw lang mag-isa. And the goal of this webinar is to influence our parents to do the same, to act the same as us and push the advocacy to protect and preserve what is left of our environment. And then for the our next future projects is exclusive event with DepEd and LLSP. Isa na to ngayon sa mga events na nabigay sa amin. So we are thankful nga pala for this opportunity, this platform to speak out. Kasi hindi siya everyday that we can speak about our advocacy and share it with our fellow Filipinos. And don't forget pala, dun sa ating mga future projects, syempre meron tayong pandemic ngayon, need natin maging extra careful. So most of the members actually of the Laudato Si are vaccinated na. Ecomarista pala, sorry for the most of the members of Ecomarista are already vaccinated. Our goal was to do this cleanup drive, tree planting and mangrove planting when we are fully vaccinated na. And once the members get their second shot and then 2 weeks after that will be fully vaccinated, we are planning to push these projects. So one of our affiliations pala for this organization is the Campus Ministry of Notre Dame of Cotabato. Sila yung isa sa mga nagtulong sa amin na ma-form yung Ecomarista organization. Next is the Maris Ecology Ministry. And then next is the Laudato Si Action Platform and the Living Laudato Si Philippines. We actually coordinated with Living Laudato Si Philippines, and isa sa mga gusto namin sana makuha during that partnership was to get a platform or projects na pwede kaming ma-involve, and this is one of them. So we also thank the Living Laudato Si Philippines for introducing us to this event. So being only one of the chosen advocates from our organization, I wanted to act as another platform for my fellow youth to raise their concerns and opinions. All our voices are important and relevant in today's time and climate. So here are their statements. So we asked, which recent environmental issue concerns you the most? Ang sagot ni Bea is deforestation. Ang sagot naman ni Ate Chris on your right is global warming. Next is isa sa mga concern ni Ryan is medical waste. This is very relevant right now because our masks, gloves, and other waste from especially medical waste are sometimes thrown irresponsibly. So pangit yung throwaway culture na yun na itatapon lang natin nang walang maayos na pagaba. Dapat kasi if we throw medical waste, we must make sure na naka-package sila or nasa container sila na hindi makaka-affect, because one of the concerns actually that was raised with this pandemic was that animals na nakaka-encounter ng mga mask natin, natatrap sila along dun sa strings ng mask natin, dun sa mga haba na string. So I'll take this opportunity na pala to tell everyone listening right now, if you're going to dispose, if you're going to throw away, kung tatapunin niyo yung mask nyo, make sure to remove the strings. Tanggalin nyo sa actual na mask. Di ba mask and dalawang string? Tanggalin nyo yung dalawa na yun. kasi those strings strangulate the animals na nakaka-encounter. Kasi kapag na-encounter yan, for example, like mga siguro mga sa mga ponds natin, meron tayong mga baby ducks, pwede yung matali sa mga around sa leeg nila, and that can hinder their development. So if you're throwing away your mask, make sure na tanggalin niyo yung tali para hindi siya makaabala sa ating wildlife. Next is for Mina, one of her environmental issues concerns for today is the illegal mining. So talagang talamak rin talaga ang illegal mining ngayon. I remember sa news, meron yung parang mountain that prevents sana large waves of that prevents tsunamis, buyag-buyag. That mountainous area prevents that events. Pero ang ginagawa is we mine that illegally or we mine that recklessly. So nasisira yung ganung biodiversity at natural earth formation na dapat pumaprotekta sa atin. So that is one of the things that we should be also concerned about. For Louise, one of her recent concerns about the environment is the extinction of animals. If di ko sure kung na-encounter niyo na, but we have problems na this already, especially sa Arctic natin. Since nga nagme-melt na yung ice doon, nahihirapan na yun, especially the polar bears, na magkaroon ng shelter. So namamayat sila. And I fear that if we continue yung ganong issue sa pag-melt ng ice, mawawalan sila shelter, it can result to the extinction of animals. Also for Sir Jano, our moderator for this organization, his recent environmental concern is pollution. So ayun. So we have a brief story about our environmental journey. So isa to sa mga na-share nila. So for Bea, growing up in a Catholic family and having spent my elementary days in a Catholic school, I've always been taught to care for the environment. In my high school days, most of my SIP projects, the science investigatory projects, were focused on the environment. Grade 8, we tried to make a biodegradable plastic. Grade 9, we tried to make an alternative energy source. For grade 10, we made use of water hyacinth to make paper. In grade 11, because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to do anything, but during our summer break, I was able to talk to Romillian about a social media platform for the environment. For Ate Chris naman, I didn't really have much of an avenue to speak up, but the current curriculum gives students many chances to engage in public speaking. Majority of the speeches I made in the classroom talk about climate responsibility. It may not have been much, but I still think that every action still counts no matter how small it may seem. I was lucky that I am surrounded by friends who think the same way, because now the Eco Marista has been made to push the climate advocacy forward. For Sir Jano, we had a formation on Laudato Si given by the Maris Ecology Ministry. Right now, we have organized a group of students, that was us, for the advocacy of Laudato Si. So the last question we asked was, what is your call to our local, national, and global leaders about environmental issues? Because one of the voices that is very valuable now is from the youth. So ito yung sagot nila. Make a difference in this world, take responsibility, and take concrete actions. For Ate Chris, she said, act now. The future depends on how we care for the environment today. The choice isn't just about acting on the climate crisis or not. It is about choosing what you want to be a part of, the problem or the solution. Lastly, we have from Sir Jano, create law that would strengthen ecological justice and the common care for our common home. So and for Luis, Our environmental issue has become worse and will continue to worsen in the next decades. If we don't act now, when? And if when, how? We need to put our environment first and help her once again regain her life and put an end to the environmental crisis. So just to wrap it up, what they said is we need to call our leaders and those in power to act now. If they do, please use farsightedness in order to approach this environmental issue appropriately. Besides our pledges, we must be able to act and make concrete actions to facilitate the reduction of the environmental degradation. So I'll end my presentation with a quote from Mary MacLeod Bethune. We have a powerful potential in our youth, and we must have the courage to change old ideas and practices so that we may direct their power towards good ends. Alalahanin dapat natin youth na meron tayong mga kapangyarihan. Nawawala lamang ang kapangyarihan natin na baguhin lahat if ang unang isip pa lang natin is wala tayong kakayanin. Remember na kami mga students at first hindi pa nabuo ang Eco Marista, pero look where we at now. We are giving speeches here sa DepEd with this event. So first of all, you need to remember that you have the power and you have the potential to change old ideas and practices na nakakasira sa environment. Kasi ang tatanggap ng world when the next generation goes is tayo. It is our responsibility rin to change and to use our power for the good and direct it towards good ends. Yun lamang. Maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat Ate Romelyn, Kuya Nico, and Ate Ian. Sobrang dami kong natutunan. Ito ay kung ano at anong mga paraan ng mga dapat gawin kung paano malimitahan at maiiwasan ang pagdami ng plastic na may malaking epekto sa ating kapaligiran. Diba, Janice?
I agree, Sheila. Sobrang dami ko talagang natutunan today. Ang dami pala talagang factors ang nakaka-apekto sa ating kalikasan. Pero kung unti-unti natin itong aaksyonan, unti-unti rin natin itong mas nasolusyonan. Truly, our speakers today may be young, but they are wise beyond their years. They know what's important, and they understand why we need to fight for it. Right, Sheila?
Yes, Janice. Talaga naman na ang dami ko ding natutunan, and I hope na ganun din ang ating mga viewers.
Pipili tayo ng tanong ngayon mula sa ating comment section. Paalala sa ating mga viewers, kayo ay maaaring manalo ng exciting prizes kung ang tanong ninyo ang mapipiling masagot ng ating mga panauhin via the Facebook Live comments.
Now, let's answer some of your questions from DepEd's Facebook page. Please include your name, office or school, and division along with your comments or questions. Para sa una nating tanong mula kay Sarah ng Taytay Rizal. Corny po ba ang maging makadiyos? Ano po ang sagot niyo dito, Ate Romelyn?
Thank you for that wonderful question, Sarah. Corny daw ba ang maging makadiyos? Para sa akin, hindi. Bakit? Dahil ang Diyos, ang nag-govern sa atin, like, He is our strength, He is our guide. And we will not be doing this or hindi natin matatanggap ang lahat na nandito sa atin ngayon kung without Him. So I don't think that God or any creator that you have right now is corny.
Great answer, Ate Romelyn. Ano naman po sa palagay nyo, Kuya Nico?
Sa palagay ko naman po, if you have a God or someone you praise, hindi po siya corny. Siguro nasabi siguro nila yon. I'll just assume ha. na maybe because of their influence ng ibang tao. Pero ate, if you strongly believe in your creator, wag kang mahiya na ipakita yon. Because one of your strength as a person is believing in someone na hindi mo nakita concretely, pero you still believe in them. Isa yun sa mga strength mo. So remember that if you have any, meron kang mga pagsubok, or for example, you wanted to act now for the environment, gawin mo siyang motivation mo and your strength. So I don't think na nagiging corny siya. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Kuya Nico. Ikaw naman po, Ate Ian.
I agree with their answers po actually. It's not a corny po, and in Islam kasi we believe in faith. God or Allah gave us the ability to think for our life, and kung hindi, tama nga ang sinabi nila na kung wala ang God, wala tayo dito. Ginawa niya tayo to be able to think, to live our life here, and to worship. That's
Ayan, ang gaganda ng mga sagot ng mga ating panauhin. Kaya Ate Sara, sana ay nasagot ng ating mga panauhin ang iyong katanungan.
Ayun naman pala, totoo naman talaga yun na hindi naman talaga corny ang iano natin ng Panginoon sa ating mga advocacies. Sige, let's move on po for our second questions. Ang ating second questions ay from Caleb of Sarangani. Kailan niyo po pinaka nararamdaman ang presensya ng Diyos noong nasa kalikasan kayo? Ano po ang sagot niyo, Kuya Nico?
Okay po. So salamat po sa question. Para po sa akin, nararamdaman ko yung pagiging maka-Diyos at yung creator natin. Well, actually everyday siya. Because it's everyday that we see His creations. Dapat araw-araw kasi natin i-appreciate yung mga nabigay niya sa atin. So for me, the time talaga is everyday siya. Di siya selected or specific. It's everyday, because everyday we must be grateful for what He has done for us. Yun lang po.
Thank you po. Kayo naman po, Ate Ianla.
Everyday po paggising. I agree with Nico's answer po. In Islam, we pray 5 times a day, and every day we give our gratitude to Him, to Allah, and especially when we experience hardship. When I personally experience hardship po, the fact that I was able to overcome it, it's really, and I mean, I'm grateful for our creator po.
Thank you po. Ano naman po sa palagay ninyo, Ate Romeline?
Parehas naman po ako ng sagot with Miss Ianla and Mr. Dagol. But sasabihin ko lang po na iiba ko lang po yung magiging tanong, no? Kung saan po mas na-experience yung presence ni God. It is in the time of hardship. Actually, in establishing this organization, I really have a lot of breakdowns and doubts to myself kung kakayanin ko ba talaga to. And looking back, lahat ng paghihirap na yon worth it siya. Bakit? Kasi nandito kami sa inyong harapan ngayon, patuloy na nag-i-inspire ng mga kabataan na magpatuloy ng laban para sa kalikasan.
Thank you po. Sheila?
Para po sa huli nating tanong, galing kay William ng Cebu City, paano po ang religious groups makatutulong sa paglaban sa climate change? Ano po ang sagot ninyo, Ate Ian?
Okay, sa question na paano makatulong sa paglaban sa climate change, yung mga religious groups, they have to form an advocate po, like the Laudato Si in our school in NDC, wherein we fight for the environment po, and to raise awareness for the youth, especially now na ang youth, I believe na ang youth ang may kakayahan talaga na to make a change in our environment po. Yan po.
Salamat po, Ate Ian. Ano po sa palagay nyo, Ate Romeline?
Para po sa akin, ginawa po namin una yung Laudato Si, or di kaya yung encyclical ni Pope Francis. Ang Laudato po kasi hindi lang po nag-address para sa mga Catholic or sa mga Kristiyano. Ang Laudato Si ay address para sa lahat, regardless of their religion, color, and everything po. So, paano makakatulong ang religious group sa paglaban sa climate change? I believe, especially here in the Philippines, tayo yung pinaka-katoliko na bansa sa buong mundo other than the Vatican City. So I believe, dyan pa lang sa part na yan, sa fact na yan, kapag sama-sama ang mga tao within the religious group, magkakaroon tayo ng actions na bigger than what we thought of. And that is when we take actions for the environment slowly and little by little. And we can, kapag sama-sama, malaki po ang magagawa natin. So yung religion is a means to do and to work together for the environment.
Thank you, Ate Romeline. Ikaw naman po, Kuya Nico.
So I agree with their answers, ano. So ang tanong kasi is, paano po ang religious groups makakatulong sa paglaban sa climate change? Remember that kapag nagbuo kayo ng religious groups, minsan katulad dito sa amin, variety siya. Minsan kapag buo kayo together, for Christians kayo, nagbuo kayo ng religious groups, you have already something in common. Sa mga bagay na tumutulong mag-push ng advocacy natin is yung similarities natin with each other. Kasi sabi nga natin kanina, we must aside our differences and work on our similarities. Right? So isa sa mga similarities natin yung religion natin. Another is the advocacy to fight for the environment. We are already similar with our religion. Next is we are also similar with our advocacy. So if we have that similarities, we can work together and we can push our advocacy forward. Tama rin yung mga sinabi nila kanina and I agree with them. Yun lang po.
Salamat po sa inyong magagandang sagot, Kuya Nico, Ate Romeline, and Ate Ian.
Thank you for all your thoughts and questions. We truly appreciate your active participation in this discussion.
We also want to thank all our resource persons for gracing us in this event and giving us an opportunity for dialogue between the different faiths.
Thank you to all our viewers for your support. Maraming salamat po sa patuloy na panonood. We love that you are here and we hope to see you again the next few days.
For those who join us today, please answer the completion and evaluation form at the link on the screen. You may also scan the QR code on the screen. Make sure to submit your correct name and email address since the certificate participation will be sent to your email. The certificate will be released on or before the third week of December.
Tomorrow, November 22, Monday, 9 a.m., we will hold the Let Earth Be Heard online completion ceremony of the Green Bit Initiative by Association of Young Environmental Journalists, or AYEJ, and the World Vision Development Foundation Incorporation, or WVDFI. In the afternoon at 4 p.m., we will have the Kalikasan online completion ceremony by Comunidad X or KX and Save the Children Philippines or SCP.
On November 24, Wednesday, we will hold the Teachers as Stewards for Climate Action Forum with Worldwide Fund for Nature and Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative. In the afternoon, SIGA or School in a Garden, Revitalizing Peace with Forum with Bureau of Learner Services Youth and Youth Formation Division.
Lastly, on November 25, Thursday, we will have the Stories for a Better Normal episode 72 in partnership with Climate Change Commission and Office of the Deputy Speaker Ligarda, to be followed by the Climate Change Adaptation and Mitigation Research Hour with Save the Children Philippines and the closing ceremony.
All our activities are provided with Filipino Sign Language interpretation.
Please follow the DepEd Facebook page or bit.ly/5NCC for the details of our series of events. The 5th National Climate Change Conference is brought to you by the Department of Education through the Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Service.
It's our pleasure to join you in today's conference. Once again, I'm Ate Sheila.
And I am Ate Janice, signing off. Ha?